my friends. Please tell me if you can hear me well, because the other day I received a commentary from a person who said that my sound in the video sucked. It was today, and because I'm open for critics, I decided to mess around a bit with the sound. So please tell me if it's better, and you will not hear those hissings and fartings as usually happens in my streams. Hopefully. Okay, I see plus plus. Thank you very much, guys. First of all, I would like to talk a bit about the recent updates from Ukraine, because as you probably know, this morning there was another missile strike in Ukraine. Wait a second, let me check out. A little echo. I'm not sure where this echo comes from. Probably it comes from the apartment, like in general, because it's not echo, it's a reverberation. It's a different thing. Are you in a black hole? Level 70. Luckily, I'm not. However, so as you probably know, there was a missile strike, and Russians were targeting our energy infrastructure again, and we know that the energy import from Europe basically helped to withstand the strike. It helped to keep the critical infrastructure in Ukraine running. Okay, people can hear me well. Good. Unfortunately, the energy import from Europe is not enough to cover all the needs of Ukrainian citizens. So that is the problem. The blackouts will be expected. Not sure about the winter, but most probably, yeah. Sound like in water closet. I don't know what to. You see, I don't have this stuff that I had in Kyiv that holds the microphone like here, so I can talk to you without any distortions and stuff. So yeah, unfortunately, I have to keep it a bit lower. That is the update on the missile strike. Also, the spokesman for the Ukrainian defense industry company, Ukroboronprom, which we usually call Ukroboronporn in the army, said that Ukraine reached parity with the terrorist federation in producing drones. However, military support from Iran and North Korea helped Russia to withstand the losses that it sustained from the Ukrainian defenders. And basically, Iranian drones at some point brought Russian militaries like an advantage in terms of the long-range weapons, but nowadays the situation looks very much different, because Ukraine signed a lot of agreements with different companies producing drones that can be used on tactical, operative, and strategic levels. And basically manufacturers in Ukraine and abroad produce as many kamikaze drones like Russian and Iranian Shahed 136 as Russia. So I thought that it's very important to mention here. Again, it doesn't mean that Ukraine has won the war tomorrow, but it means that the situation keeps improving. Currently, it's really, really early to talk about the results of the American military aid to Ukraine, but it will be something that we will see, I hope, in the closest perspective. And guys, let me check out the commentaries real quick. because apparently we have. So first of all, we have all our good friends here. Luca, hi from Cologne. Guten Abend. And yeah, it's my pleasure as always, guys, to stream for you. Oh my god, I'm worried like on the first date. So the Kremlin presented its exhibition of the captured Western and Ukrainian vehicles and equipment approximately a week ago. And of course, a lot of people talked about it. And the reason I decided to talk about it as well is, this morning I woke up and I saw like this English report from Moscow showing those destroyed vehicles. And like, what the hell? Like, American journalists were like allowed to Moscow, that they were allowed to do their job. Okay. So apparently not. Apparently it was a different journalist, but we will talk about him later. So let's switch to YouTube because we can. And yeah, Russian exhibition, Moscow, Western equipment and stuff. As you can see, there's plenty of videos, but at the same time, like, there's plenty of reports. Voice of America, the Moscow Times, of course, Euronews, and we're talking about leading Western and oppositionist, Russian oppositionist media, but a lot of Western media wrote about this. Defense Mirror, Euronews, Военное обозрение is a Russian topo. Those bastards once reposted my video long before the invasion. They reposted my video and they made me incredibly popular because I had like 7,000 subscribers. And after that, I had like 47,000 subscribers because Russians started like commenting like crazy. That's when they started to hate me. We have France 24. We have I don't know those. In response to legal requests submitted to Google, we have removed 2 results from this page. Oh my god. And the rest less known to me at least. Press Trust of India. Ooh. Whoa, that was nice. Hello, Mr. Spock. Nice to see you too. Julia, Ukraine. Slava Ukraini. And to the rest of the free world. Press Trust of India. Oh my god, this is the most trustworthy media you can find. Yahoo News Canada. And so basically there were like thousands, if not tens of thousands, updates about this exhibition that took place in Moscow. So basically what they did, they took Western vehicles and tanks. They also took some of Ukrainian equipment like Vartas. Here you can see, for example, let me change the view a bit for you guys. Yeah, here you can see on the top left, second from the top, well, you got it, that big huge vehicle that is Ukrainian Varta. We had those in my brigade. Some of them unfortunately were snatched by Kadyrovites, by the way. But nonetheless, is that Varta or Kazakh? That is Varta, because it's freaking huge. is like it's very big. That's why we usually don't use them on the very front line, but we use them to deliver troops. There's plenty of space inside. You can fit I don't know, like 2 squads of soldiers together with all they have, like water and stuff and weapons and personal stuff. So generally they took whatever they could take and they brought to this exhibition. Here, for example, you can see in the middle over here, that is Ukrainian BTR-3. I was a commander of such a BTR as an NCO of my platoon. I had that one, and behind it you can see Varta. You can see how much taller it is than the BTR. And of course there are Abrams tanks, there's Bradley and things like that. Guys, the hype is insane. The hype is so much incredible. As IMAX says, they forgot the toilets. I completely agree on that. I believe that all the toilets were already installed, and we will talk about the toilets later, I believe. But the hype was absolutely insane. For the first time since 2022, and it's 2024 outside, the Russians brought the enemy vehicles to Moscow. And why the hype? Like, okay, they brought several tanks, several vehicles to Moscow to show. Why the hype? Why all kinds of media were talking about this? I want to show you something real quick. So this is, oh my god, can I change it? Wait a second. Yeah, this is a Wikipedia page dedicated to the exhibition of destroyed Russian military equipment that took place on Mikhailivska Square, and it's a constant exhibition. We constantly have some stuff to show there. There's quite a lot of things. There's some equipment that was brought from Hostomel. There's some equipment that was brought from other places, Zaporizhia, Kherson, etc., etc. But generally, there's a lot of different iron, different metal. There's several remains of Russian ballistic missiles. I don't remember there were cruise missiles. KLW World News. Hello, hello, my friends. Hello, hello, and yeah, have a great day. But generally, we started this exhibition March, April, May, 3 months exactly after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. 3 months after Russians invaded, we already had like hundreds of different tanks. Some of them were problematic to bring to Kyiv, but we had already something to show to the public in Ukraine. I believe that next year, in 2023, we already had like 80 tanks that were brought to Khreshchatyk, 80 Russian tanks, and not only tanks, there were different like electronic warfare machines. There was TOS Sansepyok, that Russian multiple launch rocket system that shoots thermobaric rockets with thermobaric charges. There was a Buk anti-aircraft missile system and many other things. There were plenty of them. Like literally, Russians were dreaming about a military parade on Khreshchatyk, and they had it, only without Russian tankers. So you can see, like, there's plenty of things. And it was last year, guys. 2 years ago, we already had that in Ukraine, but not only in Ukraine. So in Warsaw last year, we had another exhibition for our Polish friends. And here's France 24 talking about it. You can find this article anywhere. So those are Ukrainian children posing next to the tank and stuff. Ukrainian Defense Ministry plans to then exhibit them elsewhere in Europe, including in Madrid and Lisbon. They also planned to have this exhibition in Berlin in 2022. I believe that the government didn't really, not the government, but the local authorities didn't really allow it to happen in Berlin in 2022. But in 2023 they did. So here you can see again the Russian wrecks brought to the Polish Gdansk. And whoever wanted could take a picture next to the Russian tanks. Some of them were really old. And here you can see Gdansk is a Polish city, it's a European city, right? Here you can see the Russian exhibition in Poznań, in Polish Poznań, right? Guys, please tell me if you have been to such exhibition. Okay, please let me know in the commentary. But it happened not only in Poland. So, for example, here we can see the same Russian exhibition in Prague, right? So those tanks, that one is obviously either damaged or captured. Doesn't look like completely destroyed. I believe that it was captured in Kherson. It was brought to Prague, to the Czech Republic, and it was exhibited there for the Czech people, right? So here, basically there were plenty of Russian captured, absolutely intact tanks and vehicles, and if you liked, you could like peek inside. Not sure if you could crawl inside. Yeah, but here we can see that a Ukrainian man is crying against the hull of a self-propelled mortar, right? I can completely feel his pain. It's not because of Russians, but it's because of Russians. So yeah, this one looks pretty much intact to me. So it was captured, guys. According to the statistics, almost half of the Soviet tanks that Ukrainian defenders have in their possession at this time were captured from Russians. Russians are truly the biggest partners in terms of the land lease, right? So that's the situation. Beautiful photos. Oh yeah, and yeah, here you can see the plate says item, not item, manufactured product number 9172, chassis, gear, and the hull and things like that. So it was interesting. If I was a Czech citizen, I would be definitely interested in seeing that myself. So guys, same exhibitions took place in Baltic capitals. So there was one exhibition in Tallinn, as far as I remember. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania citizens of those countries had amazing opportunity to check out Russian tanks exhibited in their capitals, right? They could go there and make a selfie. That tank looks kind of damaged bad. I believe that it's T-72. Is it? That one is T-72. Yeah. Yeah, because it has concave wheels and the exhaust is on the left side of it. So that's T-72. Beautiful photos. Why I'm telling you about all this? Like, those exhibitions took place around Europe. After the Russian invasion, they took place around Europe last year. Okay, everybody who had this desire could just go there, touch the tank, sniff the Russian spirit, you know, or I don't know. Of course, it also like similar event, right, took place in Berlin, right in front of the Russian embassy. And there's only one picture though, but again, you can Google that. And that took place exactly 1 year ago in February, not exactly, but in February last year, in 2023. In Berlin, the tank was installed in front of the Russian embassy. Again, everybody, like all the citizens of Berlin, could just go there and make a photo. I haven't seen it there because I haven't been to the Russian embassy. Of course, I had no flamethrower with me, so I didn't go there, but everybody could see that. Why the hype? Because everybody got used to the fact that you can see all kinds of destroyed Russian tanks. It's not a miracle. It's not something like, I don't know, unseen. You can see Russian vehicles destroyed in European cities. Yeah, it was a great entertainment for the people, but you see them every single day, many times, in videos, on photos, on I don't know, drone footage. Russian vehicles burning, Russian tanks being destroyed. It's not a news, it's just an ordinary thing. Russian tankers burning, Russian soldiers being obliterated by grenades, dropped from the drones, by all kinds of kamikaze drones with charges and things like that. You can see that every single day. You don't want to see it, but you see it when you scroll your phone, when you scroll your news. Like you're trying to run away from it. No, it won't happen, because we have just so many hundreds, if not thousands of hours of footage of destroyed Russian vehicles and tanks. It's not, it doesn't make news, right? Destroyed Western vehicles, on the other hand, did. And again, guys, this Russian exhibition of captured Western and Ukrainian vehicles took place 2 years after the start of the war. 22, 23, 2 years. It's kind of overdue, don't you think? But why the hype? The hype was because Russians used all the resources they could have to create this hype, to show Western civilization that Russia can easily destroy or take or capture whatever vehicle they want. And their army is completely undestructible. It's invulnerable, guys. It's like, you kill them as many as you want, but they still keep crawling at you and stuff like that. This is the signal they wanted to show to the West that, yes, we can destroy your Nazi European tanks. But not only that. So tomorrow there will be a so-called Victory Day in Russia. Today we all have like a Memorial Day, right? It's a day when the day that we call День примирення, the day of defeating the Nazism and day of tolerance, coping. I don't know how to translate this one from Ukrainian, guys, please don't hate me. But the day of mutual understanding, it's not a holy day, okay? Too many people died to celebrate it like a freaking party, and drink and puke and shit in the children playgrounds and doing other crazy things. But that's exactly what Russians do. And if you Google, I will just show it to you, okay? Okay. Победобесие. Победобесие. This is how it's called. And yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. For Stalin, for motherland. Oh my god. This is the day when Russians wear their kids in combat uniforms. Not only like World War II. No, it's just the way they those kids look absolutely happy. I think you saw that photo in some of my previous streams. There's they like doing crazy shit. This is a great comparison, by the way, because the difference, you want to know the difference between Russian supremacy and Hitler's Nazism. There's none, literally. Here you can see this absolutely amazing Russian calendar. Those kids were put on the Russian calendar. I don't know what kind of feelings this invokes in Russians, because I'm not Russian. I have different mentality. I'm a Ukrainian, and I don't really feel any positive emotions looking at that, right? Yeah, the text says, all around the world, the moms dream that their kids will become happy, and in Russia, their moms dream that they will go to war and die for the Russian elites. Oh, look at that little soldier. Look at that. Yay! Победа! Победа! They love it. They enjoy this. They freaking admire this. What do we have here? Some kids. So this is what we call Победобесие, the victorgy. I don't know how to translate this properly. Yeah, but this is what they have. Soon there will be this tremendous holiday in Russia, and with that very exhibition, Russians are trying to make this very interesting association between invading Ukraine and fighting against German Nazi. Of course, the difference is that they did not invade Germany. It was a bit vice versa, but like, who cares? They make this interesting association. So why do and another association that they make, like this interesting narrative, is that the Europe is Nazi. Guys, if you live in the United Kingdom or France or my God, of course, Germany, of course, if you live in Prague, if you in Czech Republic, not only in Prague, whatever, in Poland, of course, in Poland, you are 100% Nazi, my friends, in Russian eyes. If you live in the United States, guys, just accept it. You are Nazi in Russian eyes. So Russians truly believe, and I shit you not, that the so-called collective West have united to destroy Russia, but not only collective West, they are all Nazi. This is the greatest example of Nazi international cooperation and collaboration since, I believe, 1941. Because in 1941 there was like Nazi Germany, fascist Italy, and militarist Japan, and now you can see like 141 countries of the world with Nazi regimes united to fight against the anti-fascist and innocent Russian Federation. I shit you not, guys, they were talking about it for so many years. Why do Russian citizens hate West so much? How do you think? Because they don't. They don't have a reason to hate them other than because they're envious that you live in a democratic country, you can talk whatever you like, you can buy good things, you don't have to go outside to the outhouse to take a dump in winter in minus 35 Celsius. So that's like the envy, right? But generally they don't have reason to hate you besides of that. Okay, like, I would not call them overly envious because they believe that they are like God's chosen people, and being rich and wealthy is not Russian way. Okay. But why do they hate you so much? Because they believe that you are Nazi. Because this was made up by the Russian propagandists. Because Russian propagandists needed a reason for them to hate you. And, to say that hate them because they live better than you, it's it's bad. It's, for Putin, it's not really good for Putin. But to convince them that you are Nazi who want to destroy Russia and bring your Nazi gay culture into Russia, so they stop, reproducing, right? Because Nazi, of course, Nazi tolerate gays, right? And also Nazi cooperate with other Nazi, whatever, like regardless of skin color and religion and whatever. But this is what they made. And guys, in Russian communities, in Russian publics, whenever they talk about the so-called Victory Day, the narrative is following. They say, we are so proud that we have defeated the Nazi Germany, but unfortunately we had no opportunity to defeat Nazi France, Nazi Britain, Nazi America, America that was bringing them like ships, humanitarian aid, land lease, right, weapons, cars, airplanes, shells, and things like that. They say it's so bad that we didn't finish you, Nazi Europe. You know, the Nazi Europe that gave birth to Nazi Hitler. It's such a shame, but one time, like once, in the perspective, in the future, we will finish like all the Nazi all around the world. And of course, this narrative makes Russians feel like righteous victims protecting the world against Nazi. So this is the kind of soup they have inside their heads. This is just something that you should understand when you speak about, you know, this unexplainable Russian hatred towards everybody on Earth, right? Except maybe Iran and North Korea, because Russians already, that's from the rumors, okay, on the net, they already attended resorts on the beaches of the North Korea, and they say that they were fantastic. So this is something that you should know about Russian fight against Nazi, and the reason why they demonstrated this exhibition. Again, recently, Mr. Cameron stated that Ukraine can easily strike Russian territory with British weapons, and there were talks about sending NATO troops to Ukraine in frames of training Ukrainian personnel. And already Russian spokesman for the Russian Foreign Ministry, Maria Zakharova, the drunken horse, Lavrov is a sad dying horse, and she is a drunken horse. She said that in this case, Russia will consider the foreign personnel, the NATO personnel on the Ukrainian territory, their legitimate targets. So, like, if you're a foreigner, right, and you're coming to Ukraine, to a sovereign, independent country, Russians consider that they can kill you, right? They have right to kill you because, of course, who would protest about that, right? Of course, Russia can do whatever they can because they have nukes. So that's another thing. I don't think whether we should talk about the Russian nuclear exercises that were like pop-up exercises. Nobody planned them, and I believe that Putin was really, really mad and decided to have those exercises to scare the shit out of people. But that's exactly how the nuclear weapons are being used, because they're not used to kill, they're used to scare the shit out of people. So this time they used the nuclear weapons properly. All right, did I miss anything? Of course, you know, when we talk about Russia's fight against Nazism, the only thing I can think about is hundreds of Russian repressions against the Ukrainian identity. Okay, let's Google this. I want to see if they have this article in English. Російські репресії проти української мови. I can speak Ukrainian. Хронологія утисків української мови. Okay, let's check out. Yeah, they have this page in English, luckily. So, chronology of Ukrainian language suppression. You probably didn't know that, but for hundreds of years, Russian tsars and Russian rulers and all kinds of Russian invaders wanted to eliminate Ukrainian language. Just to remind you, Kiev is 600 years older than Moscow. We had like insanely beautiful, huge churches and markets, international markets, and houses made out of stone and bricks in Kiev, while in Moscow, the bears were wiping their asses with rabbits and pine cones. This is fact because Kiev is 600 years older than Moscow, which Russians don't recognize anyways. So here you can see long list of repressions against the Ukrainian language. It's 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th century, and 20th century was, of course, crucial in this regard because they occupied Ukraine. Ukraine was occupied for almost 70 years by the Russian Bolsheviks, Russian communists, and we had a long history of Russian repressions against Ukrainian language, Ukrainian identity, and things like that. Guys, I don't really believe that there is existing example of Ukraine or representatives of Ukraine or Ukrainian, I don't know, president or like whatever, representatives of Ukrainian government, okay, who would say that Russia doesn't exist. Russia has no right to exist. Russian people are not nation. Russian culture is fake. It was created by collective, I don't know, East. But that's exactly what Ukrainians hear throughout centuries. Hundreds of years, Russians were trying to prove to Ukraine that we don't exist, that we are not supposed to exist, that we should be whatever but Ukrainians, right? So I have a question. Who is Nazi here? Because, you know, I believe that in 21st century, Ukrainians turned into, I don't know, into Jews of 20th century. Because this is exactly what we see. Some crazy idiot with a bunch of other crazy idiots raised on supremacist ideology of Ruski Mir and poisoning other nations with the same ideology. Like, what the hell? They want to destroy other nations, but there are still dumb fucks who support them, who want to completely eliminate Ukrainian identity. And like in the beginning of the Russian invasion, there were 600 Ukrainian schools in 600 Russian schools in Ukraine. Do you know how many Ukrainian schools are there in Russia? So, who is Nazi? It's insane. There were, like, you know, in the best times when Ukrainian right nationalists were thriving in Ukraine, right, they could only have less than 3% of votes in the Ukrainian parliament. Less than 3%. Everybody else were Democrats. Basically. In Russia, they award Nazi Alexei Melchikov, leader of the terrorist organization Rusich, Nazi organization, who openly says that he's Nazi and he's dreaming of eliminating all Ukrainians. They award him with medals. He becomes a Russian hero for the Russian young generations. And that's the same dude who was decapitating dogs and puppies before the invasion. Who is Nazi? But this is exactly how Russian propaganda and brainwashing works, my friends. Because when you have a never-ending pipe of oil that can be converted into money, and you can buy whoever you like, Tucker Carlson, here you have, like, I don't know, some representatives of some political movements in the United States, for example, or Germany, right? There you have it. You can have whatever you like if you have resources. And unfortunately, Russians do that, and they do that professionally because they know that it works. Okay, so here we have two topics covered, and I only spent 51 minutes, 48 minutes actually, because I started this stream a bit later. I started it 4 minutes later almost. I still have to download that freaking file, but literally out of respect for you guys, I didn't want you to wait for me. It doesn't work like that. And I also promised to tell you about this new crazy Russian propaganda, PSYOP, no, not propaganda, but Russian PSYOP that was launched against the Ukrainian military. So the other day, they started producing, like massively producing, the same narrative under different anonymous accounts in Telegram and social media, that the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense called people to report stray dogs because the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense allegedly wanted to use stray dogs for demining purposes, basically bringing them to the front lines and, dispose of them. Which, knowing how much Ukrainians love their dogs, even stray dogs, I don't know, it's insane. In Ukraine, generally stray dogs live around 3 to 4 years, okay, outside on the street because different diseases and cold weather in Ukraine. Sometimes it's like minus 25 outside. It's really hard to withstand such temperature. But in Ukraine, dogs, I believe they live much longer than 4 years because I don't know, when I was in school, there was my favorite stray dog that I used to feed with my sandwiches and my lunches that I was bringing from home. And when I finished the university, I still fed the same dog in my yard. So it took a lot of years. So yeah, Ukrainians care about animals. Russians don't really know that. Okay, they think that all those pictures of Ukrainian soldiers with like cats and dogs from the trenches and stuff, it's just like like Ukrainian propaganda, right? No, like this is part of us. We love animals. We live with them. They're part of us. They're family. So this is again something Russian technologists, right? Let's call them technologists, don't understand and don't probably know about Ukrainians. This is why this trick didn't work. But generally, you cannot use stray dogs for demining. I learned it myself, okay? So when I was a platoon sergeant in my platoon in the infantry, we were not like friends, because you cannot be friend with your battalion, with your sergeant major, right? But we were like good colleagues. We communicated a lot. And he was a kinologist. So he had a lot of dogs. He had like amazing experience with dogs. And he had a shepherd who was trained to search booby traps and different kinds of mines. Of course, she would not try to remove them, but she would point at the place where she sniffed like explosives and things like that. And I saw it myself. We were deployed in 2017 in Svitlodarsk, and there was this huge field. There were like plenty of anti-tank mines. Nobody knew where to find them because the minefields were created, the schemes of them were created, then lost, then different landmines emerged in the same land. So it was a chaos, and this dog helped to find mines, So then I got Fuchi, okay, and I thought, well, maybe I should train him to search for explosives. Why not? And I told about it to our sergeant major. But Fuch would not be a good dog to do that. So first of all, I would never bring him to the front lines because Fuchi was afraid of shots, like bang, explosives and things like that. If he would hear a firecracker on the street, he would pee, literally. He was very anxious, specifically on the New Year when there were fireworks and stuff. I would just sit on the kitchen hugging him because he was shaking all night. But I talked to our sergeant major about it. He said, bro, stray dogs are not good to be trained to do something. And the reason for that is there are different breeds, okay, different specific breeds, so they are better at training. Why? Because the dogs of different artificially created breeds, right? Like shepherds, my God, those wiener dogs, sausage dogs, whatever. They were trained. They can be trained because they have three main instincts, right? It's reproduce, eat, and play. Of course, every dog has his or her own character, but stray dogs usually, in majority of cases, have only two instincts. It's eat and reproduce. So it's kind of possible to train a stray dog to find something, to find drugs or explosive or things like that. But it's really, really hard because the instinct of playing was developed in other dogs of different breeds much better than in stray dogs. And this is the reason why you can take like a shepherd or a spaniel or whatever and train this dog to find, because you use games to gameplay to train the dog. You can give it a ball with some, I don't know, like drugs inside of it, and she will smell it and she will recognize it, and based on gameplay, you can train the dogs. With stray dogs, it's a different thing. I would throw a ball at Fuchi, he would literally pee and run away like crazy because he didn't know what to do with the toys. So that's the thing. That's another thing that Russian technologists and propagandists obviously didn't know about the dogs, but you know now. Okay, friends, I think I can finish my lecture a bit and answer your questions. And there's a lot of them, 1,328. Okay, downloading movies about SU ball. SU ball. What is SU balls? Please, I don't know what it means. hope you and Lady Hippo are keeping well, my dear. If you're speaking about my Planet Zoo, I didn't play it for a while. By the way, there's a new DLC that was published. The Gigolo photo shoot is in development, guys. It's not a matter of the closest month, unfortunately. The dictator calendar shoot, all posing provocative. I like hanging or like lying down on a guillotine. Is that provocative enough? Please let me know. Volume up. So Matt, because I was not a professional YouTuber before. I was a military. I had to fiddle with like different compressors and things like that. I can do that because I do music, but I never do. I never did it for my stream equipment. Okay, because I wasn't a professional YouTuber. Now apparently I am. That's why. Today I spent some time fiddling and talking to myself like for 3 hours before I set everything properly. So how long do you think Ukraine has? As long as we have weapons. That's the answer. Where are we all from? So if you're watching this channel, there is a big chance that you are from a free world. And are French troops coming to fight in Ukraine? I don't believe they are meant to fight in Ukraine. I believe that they are meant to train the Ukrainian personnel. And the reason for that is previously we used to take like 5,000 Ukrainian soldiers and bring them to Germany or the United Kingdom and train them there. But you can imagine how difficult it is from the standpoint of logistics, right? It's much easier to bring several hundred instructors from a NATO country so the Ukrainian soldiers could teach them how to fight. You mean the Ruskies didn't capture F-35s and American aircraft carriers? Caitlin T, they could not bring the F-35 because obviously it was destroyed. The Russian Minister of Defense literally talked about it, I believe, back in 2022. As for the American aircraft, I think that it was also destroyed by the submarine Moskva. But we will never know about it. And they look brand new. What's up with that? So I have several ideas, but I need to confirm them. Because I'm not real. I need to confirm them first. Why is Russian equipment so rusty? So it's not rusty, it's burnt down. This is how it looks like when after it was burnt down. It looks rusty, but well, it kind of is. After it's burned down and after surviving several snowfalls and rains, this is exactly how it looks like. Generally, if your equipment loses paint, this is how it will look like eventually. Do Yemilyan's friends' toys they left in Ukraine make good recycled scrap, or is it crap scrap? It's a crap scrap. This scrap is crap. How many of those did Putler get from the Taliban? That is another good question, my friend, because Taliban apparently turned into Putin's very, very good allies, because who else would you ally if you are a terrorist? Of course you would ally with terrorist countries and terrorist regimes. Um, I was wondering where air intake is on Russian turtle tanks. If make fire on turret, will it act like oven? It will act like a grill for barbecue. I think. No, the grill is. It will work like an oven. It will work like an oven, my friend. Um, why didn't they show the stolen Caesar Su-24 with Storm Shadow and other equipment they said they got? For the same reason, they never show you like remains of 27? Was it 27? 27 destroyed HIMARS systems, tens of destroyed Patriot systems, more than 10,000 destroyed tanks, and a Death Star in the Luhansk steppe because it's too heavy to bring it to Moscow, apparently. I don't know. It's like, like why Russian bullshit is so effective. It's because, of course, you can show people like different videos and stuff, but it takes much less effort to just tell them, actually, we eliminate 300,000 Ukrainians a day, and we already destroyed 1,000 Abrams tanks. They're like over there in the steppes of Luhansk and Donetsk. Trust me, and of course people will trust them because like this is how the lies works. Where do you find that tank? In country? How did get their evidence? Yeah. Fundraisers for large generators. I believe we will see large generators soon in Ukraine, and I believe that there's plenty of them already coming to Ukraine. That headline says it isn't happening this year. No. Which headline? Sorry, I missed that one. Gender-neutral toilets. Oh my god, you cannot imagine the amount of fear the Russians have when you talk about gender-neutral toilets. You wanna see how Russians imagine death? Like literally. I will show you. I will show you right now. You probably know what I'm talking about. Oh my god, please switch the language. So if you want to know how does a common Russian citizen imagine death and apocalypse, it's something like this. So this is Conchita Wurst, the winner of the Eurovision of, I don't remember, was it in 20? Whatever. So this is the death of the Russian nation. This is the apocalypse. This is the like Armageddon, whatever. This is the end of the Russian world. That, this person, and by the way, this person has a very good voice. I had a chance to listen. This is something that, like, when when you show like a cross to a vampire and they go, and start burn. That's exactly what happens to Russians when you show them this absolutely talented singer. Because like they don't care about the voice, of course. And of course, nowadays, Conchita Wurst would be considered a terrorist in Russia because it's not allowed to look like that in Russia anymore because you're a terrorist. If you're like, I don't know, It's your choice what to wear and what to not wear. You like to wear a dress and a beard. Who the hell, like, am I to tell you not to do that? Like, it's your life. I don't give a slightest damn about it. But in Russia, it's a death penalty. Like, you're a terrorist. You're ISIS. Okay. And why I showed that to you, okay, I don't remember. But anyways, we were talking about the gender-neutral toilets. Is absinthe just like booze? I thought it was drunk like... I believe it's like booze. I tried absinthe... Maybe I tried wrong absinthe back in the days when I could. But nothing special. I think it burns. Oh my god, you reminded me of that story when I was 23, 25. So me and my friend, we decided to meet in Kiev downtown. It was years before the Russian invasion and hybrid war and stuff like that. It was 2008, 2009. So we decided to meet in one of the coolest pizzerias that I know in Kiev. And of course, we got drunk like pigs. But the coolest thing was my wisdom tooth was growing and aching like crazy. That's why I went to the drugstore and I bought this paste called Baby Dental Baby. It's when when you have a baby and your baby's teeth grow and it aches, you just take some of this paste and rub a bit in the gums and it stops aching. So I bought this shit, it helped, it was amazing. And I kept it in my pocket, of course. So we got drunk with my friend and they brought us, I don't remember, was it absinthe? I think it was absinthe because it was burning. And because I was already very, very drunk and I couldn't really understand what I was doing, I decided to put out the flame, blow on the burning absinthe. I decided to put out the flame through a straw, and of course all that burning liquid splashed everywhere, and I had my hand in flames, and I was like, oh shit, and I started waving my hand. Fire was everywhere, on my pants, everywhere. And then again, because I was really drunk, I decided to use Baby Dental on my burned hand. Of course it didn't help because it doesn't work like that, so I spent the rest of the evening sitting there with my hand inside of the glass full of ice. That helped, at least for a while, but we do stupid shit when we are drunk. What did they say about Germany? They defeated the Nazis and now they are now Nazis. So that tank in Berlin that was installed in front of the Russian embassy, there's a very interesting story. As far as I remember, there were several people who brought this tank from, I believe, Kiev region, around Bucha or something. But the funniest fact was that on this tank, the Russians wrote, "On to Berlin," And they decided, why not? So they brought this tank to Berlin. And Russians do that a lot. So again, this is... this is like Russian... so this stuff, the sign says "Na Berlin," on to Berlin, right? And this is a typical Russian car. Russians go to Berlin. Russians can repeat, to Berlin. To Berlin. On to Berlin. On to Berlin. They have this crazy, I don't know, crazy fashion, like no step behind, to Berlin, to Berlin. Guys, this is very, very widespread. And for example, before the Russian invasion of Ukraine, they used to like have those rallies, like multiple cars going to Berlin with such signs, with such stickers on their cars. To Berlin through Washington. Ah, this is so insane. So this is beautiful, guys. This is IL2, Moscow, Washington. On to Berlin. So we got the idea, right? Did they actually blow up any nukes? Not that I know. I think that, the first day Ukraine had their tanks, destroyed tanks on a parade, on a stationary parade on Khreshchatyk. I think Russians had something that would remind a nuclear explosion somewhere in the area inside of their pants. But other than that, I don't really think they did it because the nukes don't work like that. Okay, they don't work through killing people, they work through scaring people. How can Ukraine be Nazis if they don't? Exactly. Exactly. There's a lot of things in the Russian propaganda that just don't combine, right? But nobody cares. We should be bad. Okay, everybody should be bad except Russia. Can Ukraine be classified as a historical site? So you like thousands of Ukrainian sites, like territorial sites and buildings and stuff, are already classified and protected by UNESCO. But UNESCO cannot protect against Russian missiles, unfortunately. Are we in search of some kind of logic tonight? Why, I wonder, it's not there. Exactly. Any updates on the Iris-T, on the Russian sabotage on the Iris-T plant in Germany? So several days ago there was huge fire on a factory that was, I believe, next to the factory that was producing different parts for the Iris-T. And from what I know, that very part of factory wasn't damaged. But the fire was absolutely incredible, and I don't believe in coincidences. I know that they can exist, of course, theoretically. Yeah, but I don't believe in them. Absolutely. What is best in life? Nigiri with octopus, or with calmar, with the squid. That's the best thing that exists out there. Is there now more Russian armored vehicles in Ukraine than Russia? So as far as I remember, as far as the numbers, I believe that at least 400 tanks were snatched from the Russian invaders. It was information as of 2023. Why do pro-Russians like to compare the war in Ukraine with Israel war? I have no idea. But I believe that it's probably attempt to, make Ukrainians, Israelis, and Palestinians all fight each other. A Leathercat, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I had Thai rice with beef and garlic and huge amount of tomatoes that I cooked myself today, and it was amazing. Not enough though. Wasn't Putin stationed in East Berlin? I believe he was. I believe he was. I have no idea how he even learned German language, though, because when he read that map with Latin words saying Ukraine, land of Cossacks, he was not able to read it properly, and he pretended he never saw it. Why would they need more land? Well, because this is how empire can survive. That's the only way for empire, and we know that Russia is probably the last empire on earth. This is the only way they can survive, through conquering new territories, gaining new resources and things like that. Why empires existed, why they existed for throughout the history of humankind, it's a different philosophic topic. I'm not a philosopher. I don't have enough knowledge in this field, unfortunately. I cannot tell you why they need more land. But they do. They need more land, more toilets, more conditioners. More Russian refugees coming to Germany. I would not laugh at that, because they do crazy shit here. Like, they really do. They stab people, they kill people, they kidnap children. Like, I'm serious. Just Google Russian crimes in Germany over the past 2 months. And by the way, we will talk about this. Is Ukraine going to run out of soldiers? So the population of Ukraine is 40 million people. And when the Russian invasion began, we had almost a 400,000 400,000 man army, consisting of National Guards, consisting of law enforcement, consisting of armed forces, of course. How do you think can Ukraine run out of soldiers? I don't think it can. In case Russian propaganda and Russian misinformation is very, very good, I don't think that Ukraine can run out of battle spirit, morale, and things like that. Soldiers, of course. But if Russian propaganda and informational warfare are very, very efficient in the nearest years, they might run out of ammunition and weaponry, unfortunately. But I don't think it will happen, because as we can see, again, over the past 2 years, the support for Ukraine only grows. And when, in the days when we could not imagine HIMARS systems and Abrams tanks in Ukraine, we would not even expect this to happen. Now we are expecting F-16s and NATO instructors in Ukraine. So this support will only grow, because leaders of European countries, leaders of American countries, I'm talking about Northern and Southern Americas, they have a lot of intelligence, and this intelligence on Russia's upcoming plans doesn't tell anything good, okay? It doesn't tell anything that would make them happy. So they have their reasons to be very, very concerned. Do you afraid of spider? Not like I am afraid of spiders. I don't really like to see them near me, okay? Who the hell told you about it? Okay. Is Ukraine in part responsible for the war? How exactly can Ukraine be responsible for the war? Ukraine could avoid this war if Ukraine turned into a Belarus, where people have no Belarusian identity, where they forgot their roots, where they have a freaking dictator ruling them for decades, where journalists are being slaughtered, and basically this country belongs to Russia now. Russians use their land as they like, and there's like incredible corruption. Well, in this case, yeah, we could become more corrupted. We could forget about decades of Russian occupation of Ukraine. We could forget about the Russian genocide of Ukrainians called Holodomor of 1932-1933, and actually there were three similar events that resulted in deaths of approximately 10 million Ukrainians killed by Russians and recognized by plenty of European countries. We could forget about all that and just become Russians. You could just become a Chinese. Why not? Why not? You can just become Chinese if this saves your life, right? It's ridiculous, of course. How are Brandon's gigolos doing? Doing great. Friends, I don't want to hold you for longer time. I believe that a lot of my European friends already want to go to bed, and it's really late. It's almost midnight. Thank you so much for watching my streams. I would like to make a small announcement. Remember, there were many requests to invite some of the Russian bloggers to my channel. And many times I was saying that no freaking way. I would better invite American machine gunner like Nakin Fats, or I don't know, Australian and Kiwi D-miners, right? Than a Russian blogger, because they're not interesting. But then I decided, who can tell you more about Russian propaganda than Russians themselves? So very soon on my channel you can expect something like that, and I'm sure you will be pleased to see this person. With that, my friends, I would like to thank you so much for your support of my channel, and I would like to say big thanks to our moderators, big thanks to all the members on my channel, big thanks to everybody who supports my channel. But even more than that, I would like to express my appreciation and gratitude to those who support my people in general, because guys, if you support Ukraine, it means that today there is a Ukrainian soul that will go to bed, and in the morning he or she will see tomorrow. So guys, thank you so much, and as always, be safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.